G'day mates, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I want to talk about the Reverse 2K Cup. We had the finals today. It was a fantastic tournament. It was super exciting. The results were pretty much as you'd expect. Jack Slacks, Acorn, and Illis popped off like Jack Slacks and Acorn pop off in everything at the moment. But there was some more unexpected results. We had Tayson's team going up against Gabe Tahi Sprite at Sweaty Sands, and it was a very, very one-sided affair. We also had the champs. We had Reverse 2K in his own tournament start off a little bit shaky, get a lot of speed going, and then unfortunately fall a little bit short of the end. I'm going to recap all of that in a little bit, but I also want to start off today's video talking about what Ninja revealed on stream the other day when he came back to Fortnite. He was talking to Ronaldo, and he was talking about how he made $5 million in a single month from his creator code.
I'm not familiar with that much money.
Yeah, I think the most I've ever made in a month off of the creator code was like 5 mil. I'm not joking.
You have literally more from your supporter creator code than my whole bloodline.
You know, it's funny, man. I actually talked to someone the other day in a stream who was just roasting my League of Legends gameplay. I told him that I could buy his family tree.
You try to grasp how much Ninja, Tfue, and the big guys made in Fortnite's peak, but that is on an entire another level. Like, what even is that? You have to think that Fortnite was one of the biggest games in the world at its peak, and I don't know if any game could ever really beat it. I know League of Legends, I know games like Counter-Strike Go have been around for a lot longer, and League of Legends is very popular in, you know, the Asian market, so I probably can't fully grasp just how big it is, but Fortnite at its peak was just something else. $5 million. So if you figure that out, so you make 5% of how much people spend on V-Bucks with your creator code, you make 5%. So if he made $5 million, that means people spend $100 million using his creator code. $100 million in a month, and that's just the people using Ninja's code. Think about how many people have been using Tfue's code, you know, using Sway's, Clicks, all these other big creators. I mean, they maybe weren't as big at this point, but that is just an unfathomable amount of money. But we've got Ninja coming back to Fortnite. It doesn't look like he's gonna maybe play it all the time. Doesn't look like he's gonna be staying around for ages, but it was so much fun to watch him play with Bucky, watch him play Ronaldo, watch him play with some of the new big content creators on Fortnite that weren't really as big or weren't really around when Ninja was at his peak, but we've got a few of them coming back. You know, Nick Mercs is coming back to play tournaments. Sometimes he plays arena. Things are looking a little bit up for Fortnite, and again, it just ties back into the video I posted a few days ago talking about how the next season is the season that could make or break Fortnite. There's a game drought right now. A lot of players are looking for a new game to play. Apex Legends just released an awesome new season and it's drawn so many players back. If Fortnite can do the same thing, and during summer break for USA school kids, I mean, it could take back over and just kind of have a huge explosion in popularity. Also gives us a bit of an insight into just how much creator codes make for you when you are the big person on the platform. So when you think Click still doesn't have his creator code, I mean, during the squad tournament today, he made a joke when talking to Reverse 2K about getting his own tournament that if Epic doesn't give him his creator code back, this will be his last season of Fortnite. And he kind of laughed, he kind of chuckled, the other guys laughed, but he didn't really say I'm joking at the end of it. Like, I'm pretty sure he was joking, and I would be surprised to see Clicks quit for good. But I mean, Epic taking away his creator code, that could be the final straw. He hasn't had a skin bundle. He hasn't had his own tournament. Now he's got his creator code taken away. And I'm not going to try and say that Clicks doesn't, you know, deserve some kind of a punishment from Epic. He does step out of line quite a lot. He said some things he definitely shouldn't have said, but you got to imagine there's only so much Clicks is going to put up with before he maybe does switch games and give it up. All right, while talking about the Squad Cup, let's run the leaderboard. Let's talk about how everything ended up. So we had Slacks, Jack, Acorn, and Illis take out the first place on 160 points, and look at their match history. Other than that one elim 14th place, they got top 5 in every single other game, which is just insane consistency from a trio that is already consistent in everything. Jack and Acorn, and even Jack in solos, literally have placed in like every single game mode for the last year and a half. You put Illist on top of that, and of course, you're going to have a recipe for success. Niddle, Mikey, Casca, and Smacked, which is a team that I had an eye on, but I didn't have as much hope in, was so close on pulling it off in the end. They dropped Retail Row. They got 153 points. Coming into the last game, Game 6, they pulled high ground half-half on top of the Spire. They looked like they had everything to win the game, and they gave up high ground to Jampa, Threat, Avery, and Rise, who ended up coming in 3rd place. We had Commandment Centered, Edgy, and Cozzies come 4th, and we had had Gabe, Zunies, Tahi, and Sprite come in 5th, and that might give you a bit of an indicator to what I was talking about before. We had Gabe, Tahi, Zunies, and Sprite getting dropped on by Tayson's team, so normally when you're getting contested by a team that good, you wouldn't expect them to come top 5 on the leaderboard. At one point going into the last game, Gabe's team was actually in 3rd. They tried to key Coral Castle to have a big game to jump up into 1st or 2nd. Unfortunately, they went down there, but they managed to win every single game against Tayson's team. I think the first 3 or 4 in a row, and then at that point, Tayson's team just gave up on the tournament. They stopped playing. I did actually have Tayson in my Twitch chat, and he was getting pretty heated with my viewers who were, you know, flaming him and all, EU's garbage, EU's terrible, Tayson, you suck. And Tayson basically said what a lot of you guys are expecting, what EU fans would think. They're all on 100 ping. If 4 of you are on 100 ping versus 4 players who are on, I think, about 20 ping or less, and it's an on-spawn fight where ping really matters the most, it's gonna be unfortunate. I was talking to Taste and I said, look, mate, I think you've got to put some respect on Gabe, Tahi, and Sprite. They know how to fight Sweaty Sands. They are playing these fights really well. Tayson said, nah, they're all terrible. If it was on 0 ping, we would have wiped them 6 out of 6 games, 100%, which from someone who is outside of this, I love Tayson, I love Gabe's team. I think they're both fantastic teams. I don't think he's putting enough respect on Gabe's team, but also if they were on 0 ping, you've got to imagine how much scarier Tayson's team would have been. But coming into heats now, coming into, you know, Gabe's team potentially contesting Clix's team at Sweaty Sands in the heats, they're looking like they're on fire. Now, even in squads with Zunies on top, they still can't be beaten at Sweaty Sands. Whether Tayson agrees or not, I have to think that these guys at Sweaty Sands, they're pretty on top. You're not going to be able to beat them. I would be surprised if Clix's team can beat them on spawn even 3 or 4 times. Like, let's say they're having an off day. Even Gabe's team having an off day, you have to imagine they'll win the spawn fight at least twice out of 6 games. That means Clix's team is relying on 4 games to try and get top 6. Like, things are looking really grim coming into the heats for both these teams trying to qualify. I do want to give an honorable mention and a shout out as well to Bucky, Ages, Kanata, and Macwood. They came in 6th place. They were 1 place off money, and they were contested on spawn, I think 3 out of their 6 games by Alicia's team, and every single time they did absolutely destroy them. Like, they went to Twitter and they made their jokes. Macwood's made the joke he's made so many times before, the 0 point joke, but man, it holds true. Like, this team cannot be beaten at Craggy Cliffs. I have to think going into finals, they will be uncontested because they are just so ridiculously scary. Their issue wasn't being contested on spawn because that was, if anything, free points and free surge. It's the fact they kept running into Mr. Savage's team out of Steamy on their rotates. They always had these real edge zone crazy storm fights / interzone fights that just pretty much most of the time got both of them killed, if anything, but they did really well overall. But I wanted to give an honorable mention for them because I've never seen a squad straight wipe another squad so fast 3 times in a row. Like, the Gabe, Tahi, Sprite, Zunies versus Tayson's team fights at Sweaty were really interesting, but they dragged out for at least a little bit longer. I mean, Kanata's team kind of just walked straight through him. I touched on it a bit in the intro. Unfortunately, for Reverse 2K in his own tournament, Day, Clix, Miro, and Reverse came in 9th place on 92 points. Their first game was probably their worst game. They didn't have Surge figured out. They went down at first Surge intervals. They went out 18th place with 0 limbs, but then they started to bring things back. The pace kicked in, and this is when I thought they were potentially going to run it home. They got a 10 limb second and then a 13 limb win, but then unfortunately after that, it went back downhill again. They got a 0 limb 19th, a 0 limb 19th, and a 3 limb 16th. The last game was a bit rough. It was a complete opposite zone pull. They got held and fought by a lot of teams that were not the best pushers. Game 6, I'll 100% give them, as it really wasn't their fault. They did just get held and focused by a lot of teams. The 2 games before this though, and same with that first game, it was just a result of having uncontested dirty. They just couldn't find their Storm Surge tags anywhere around them. By the time they were done looting, even with 4 of them, most of the teams that were, you know, dropping the Kami split, which was Calazo's team, knew they were there and they knew to be scared of them, and they were avoiding them. They were rotating early and getting away from them. So it really was just an issue of Storm Surge. The 2 games they made it to endgame with their Storm Surge in check. They got a 13 limb first and a 10 limb second. If they could have had some kind of a surge plan in the mid game, they would have done so much better, and I think they could have won the tournament, but it's squads. They weren't prepared for it, and there's no real way to be prepared for it. We haven't seen set lobby squads for, you know, absolute months on months now, so there's no real way to prepare for it, and it was unfortunate to see when they made it to endgame. They looked fantastic. As for the console FNCS, guys, don't worry. I'm going to be watching the games. I'm going to try and make some videos on it. Unfortunately, today of this video going live or tomorrow, I'm not able to watch round 2 and 3 because I've actually got my parents coming up and visiting and I want to take a day off to spend with them. I'm still going to film a video, but I can't watch them live on stream. But I will be doing my first ever console viewing party for NA East. If you're a console fan and you want to watch the round 4 of NA East, it'll be on tomorrow or whichever day round 4 is on for you guys. It'll be on at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be watching it. If I can't watch the stream's perspective, there's not enough people streaming, I will do a replay mode viewing party, kind of hit it up in Mars style because I want to see what console's got to offer. I think round 4 of the console will be super interesting and exciting, but I wanted to let you guys know why I'm not making as much content on it because it's just hard to figure out what's going on. Because it's console, there's not a lot of people streaming at all, so it's really hard to get a gauge of what's happening unless I was going to check the replay mode. And because my parents are up, I don't really have the time to sift through all the replay modes, but I do want to make a recap video for at least EU and NA East when it comes to round 4 in a few days. So I'm going to try to do my best to catch up on EU, but I'm definitely going to watch NA East on my stream as well. Alright guys, that does it for another video. I know it was a shorter one. There wasn't as much to cover at the moment, but don't worry. We got heats coming up. I'll be doing full breakdown videos, and then once FNCS kicks up again, you know we're going to be back with the stacked long videos. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please chuck a like on it. Let me know in the comment section down below your thoughts on anything I talked about today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It would mean the world to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.